This is it, people. We have 3 months left in the year 2025 to hit all of those goals that we set for ourselves at the beginning of the year. And in today's video, I'm going to share 10 tips with you to help you lock in and maximize your fourth quarter profits. Let's go. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I'm a part-time reseller and I've been at this for a while. This is not my first quarter four rodeo, but I don't know what it is about the year 2025. I am tired. I am not motivated in the least to do all of the things that I know I'm supposed to do in October, November, and December to get the most out of fourth quarter. And so I am honestly making this video just as much for myself as I am making it for anyone else who is looking to just get a little kick in the butt to get motivated a little bit. This is just as much for me as it is for you. And furthermore, I am leaving for a trip with my family for our fall break vacation. We are going to Utah. We're going to visit some national parks. And I also got to lock in because I got to get some stuff done to prep for being away so that I can still have listings going live while we're gone for about a week. I want to make sure that I don't hurt my reselling business even more than it already sucks, because I'm going to be honest with you, it is in a really sucky place right now. So we are going to lock in together. I'm going to share with you 10 things that I think can help both of us. Let's jump right into the first one. So one of the main problems I think people have when it comes to locking in, especially when you think about it on a daily basis, is just getting started. You know, a lot of times when we talk about locking in and having these big quarters and having, crazy numbers, that comes with putting in a lot more work. It comes with more listings, more sales, more of everything. And when we look at that piece of it, sometimes it feels extremely overwhelming. If your goal in order to reach those kinds of numbers is, let's say, to list 25 items a day, there is something very overwhelming and scary about sitting down to start 25 listings, at least for some people, at least for me. And so I think one tip that helps me is not to think about the 25 that is my ultimate goal, but I like to trick myself and tell myself, you know what? You just have to list one thing right now, or you just have to photograph one item right now, or you just have to inventory this one bin right now. And the reason why that works for me is if I can just get started and I can get in a little bit of a groove, then even though I told myself I only have to do one, I find myself doing more because I've already gotten started. I'm warmed up, I'm in the groove, and it's not so scary once you're in it. The scary thing is being on the outside looking in and saying, oh my gosh, this is the task at hand. It is never going to happen. It is too hard. And so people often give up before they even get started. And they often don't get started because what they're trying to do just seems too hard. It seems too big. Yes, you're just kind of tricking yourself because ultimately your goal is to do that 25 number of listings, or your goal is to inventory all of your inventory. But if you start by just saying, I just have to do one. I just have to do one. You know you can do one, and as you sit there and do that one, oftentimes that will lead to you doing even more. So set a small, achievable goal to get started, and once you get that ball rolling, chances are you're going to be able to do all of the things that you set out to do that day. Number 2, this is so simple, and you might think that this doesn't directly play into your success, but it does. And number 2 is clean your space. It is hard for people to do their best work in a cluttered space. It is hard for people to get a lot done when they are fighting through messes and piles of clothes over here, or when they're shipping and things aren't where they're supposed to be, or when they're trying to pull inventory and certain pieces aren't even put in the correct inventory bins. It's hard to do your best work when your space is not set up for you to succeed. So even though by taking, let's say, an hour to clean your space might feel like you're losing an hour of productivity when you could be listing or you could be photographing, what you're going to gain, however, is so much more than just that 1 hour that you lost cleaning. You're going to gain a clean, calm, peaceful space where you can truly do your best work. And that kind of best work energy compounds on itself. And not only are you able to get more done because your space is just easier to move around in, but you're also putting up more quality work. Your listings are better, perhaps your shipping time decreases and you're just shipping better and faster. And even more importantly, you're just in a better state of mind. You're not angry every time you have to be in your space because you're in a place of filth. And I say that as someone who right now is just among the filth. Like, there is so much on this desk in front of me. There's so much going on behind me. I need to take an hour to clean this space so that I can do my best work. Number 3, I think people can do their best work and truly lock in. This, by the way, if you didn't know, is the official motion for lock in. People can lock in when they don't have to do things by themselves. You need accountability, my friend. And boy, do I have an amazing opportunity for accountability. I have done listing challenges in the past, and I am honestly still tinkering with how I want to do my next one. But what I know is I am going to start a listing challenge on October 20th. It's not going to be anything super involved because the truth is I don't have time for that. But it's just going to be a space where you can state your intention of what it is that you plan on doing that day, that week, that month for quarter 4, and there are people who will hold you accountable to it. There are people that are walking alongside you, also trying to do their best. They are on this journey with you, and all of that is going to happen in my Facebook group. And so I have a link for my Facebook group down in the description below. I will pin the post where I am just kind of checking out who's interested in being a part of this listing challenge, this accountability for quarter 4. And once it gets launched, I will be able to reach out to everyone who's shown an interest by interacting with that post that I'll have pinned in my Facebook group. And again, a lot of what we're talking about and a lot of what I'm doing for myself as much as I'm doing for you guys, because I need a kick in the butt. I need accountability. I need people to answer to when it comes to me stating what my goals are and people saying, so how are you doing with those goals? So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, like I said, you can go to that Facebook group and just comment that you're interested in joining once I get it started. Now, I know my first tip was to create small, achievable goals so that you can give yourself easy wins and you can kind of ease yourself into getting your work done. But my 4th tip is to create one big goal that you can work towards and that will bring you satisfaction as you track your progress towards that big goal. I'm going to be so honest with you. This doesn't work super well for me. I'm not a big goal type of person. Something about having a big goal is just a little too overwhelming for me, and it doesn't cause me to do my best work. But I do know that this works for a lot of people, which is why I'm mentioning it. And when I say create a big goal for yourself, it could be a listing goal. It could be, at the end of this month, I want to have listed 200 new items. It could be a monetary goal. It could be by the end of this month, I want to have made $2,000 in net profit. It could be a goal tied to sourcing. Like, I'm not going to allow myself to source anymore until I get through this much of my death pile. Some people really enjoy having a big goal to work towards. They like having like a little notebook or something where they keep track of how close they are to achieving that goal. And if you are a big goal-oriented person, this is something you should definitely implement in the 4th quarter. You should create a goal that's a little outside of what you think is possible for yourself, just to give you that extra push, just to give you that kick in the butt to say, you know what, if I'm going to meet this goal, I gotta really work hard. I gotta really be efficient with my time. My 5th tip is another thing that I am not doing yet, and I don't know that this is super feasible for my life, but I have heard that it works for a lot of people, which is again why I'm sharing it with you, and that is to create a weekly reselling schedule. This is what I mean. For me, just because of the way that my life is right now, because I have a full-time job and I have kids who are really busy and stuff, I find that I do all of the things necessary for my listings in one day. I will photograph 5 listings and then I will list those items that day. But what I have heard some people do is they will have a day or two that they go out and source. They will have a day that they simply photograph, and then they will have a day or two that they list. And what they do when they list is they will have a certain number of listings go live that particular day, but then they will schedule out listings to go live for the remainder of their week when they have their sourcing day or when they have their photography day. I tried this for like 4 days and I was like, oh, this doesn't work for my life right now, but I definitely see the benefit and the allure of it. Like I see why this would be attractive, and maybe one day this schedule can work for me as well. I'm thinking maybe during like summer break, winter break, maybe this is something I can try to do. But when I have a full-time job and there's a lot of different things that pop up after school for my work as well, and like I said, just things with kids, this is not feasible. But if you've been struggling to figure out just like a routine for yourself, and that's one of the things getting in the way of you locking in, maybe this is something you can try. And if it is something that you try, let me know down in the comments what you think your weekly reseller schedule is going to look like. Tip number 6, I would say find at least 30 minutes every week to purge one section of your house. For example, maybe this week I would purge my own closet for 30 minutes. I would go through everything, and guaranteed I will find at least 5 to 10 items in my personal closet that I can list on my reselling platforms. That is 30 minutes that I was able to source for free, and I didn't have to spend any gas to do it. I didn't have to, waste any time driving anywhere and back. This is all stuff that came out of my house. Maybe the next week I would spend 30 minutes in my husband and my kids' closets, and then the next week I would spend 30 minutes in my garage. Oh my gosh, I bet there are like literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of stuff in my garage that I could resell. I think we have a lot of stuff in our homes that we could make some serious money on. It's not as exciting. It's not as exciting as going out and sourcing. I totally get that. But it is free inventory that we have just at our fingertips. And if we're trying to make as much money as possible in Q4, what better way to do that than to find great inventory for free? And on that note, maybe you've already purged through your entire house and you don't have a lot of stuff. This is a great time to ask friends and family, hey, do you have stuff that you're trying to get rid of? Do you have stuff sitting in your car that you're waiting to take to Goodwill? Do you mind if I have a look at that stuff first? Because maybe some of that I could resell. But see if you can tap into some free inventory to help you maximize your profits even more in this Q4. Number 7 is probably one of my favorite tips that I've been implementing in my own reselling business. And that is, if you find yourself with 5 minutes to spare, like you just don't have anything to do for 5 minutes, relist something. I used to use Chrome extensions like Poshmark VA to relist stale listings for me. You can tell Poshmark VA, hey, after this many days, go ahead and relist listings that haven't sold yet. And on eBay, I used to do sell similar, which is, when something was listed for 30 days, I would end it on eBay and then I would sell similar, which means I would basically replicate the listings that I had just ended, and I would list them again. And those items would get listed with brand new item numbers, and they would look like brand new listings in the eyes of eBay. But after speaking with one of the co-founders of List Perfectly, she convinced me to look at relisting differently and to treat it differently, because truthfully, all I was doing was taking the same exact listing and throwing it back up on all these different reselling platforms with no edits, with no changes to price given today's market. I was just copying and pasting essentially. And one thing that kind of messed up for me when it comes to List Perfectly is it messed up whether or not the links that I had within List Perfectly for each item was actually live or not, because when you end a listing, let's say on eBay, there is an old link on List Perfectly that pertains to that eBay listing, but it doesn't apply anymore because you've gone and ended that and you've created a new listing. And so for a myriad of reasons. So what I do instead is I still use eBay. I still sort by, which items are going to end the soonest. But instead of just ending those listings on eBay and selling similar, I will go one listing at a time and I will go into List Perfectly. I will edit the listing, especially if it's an older listing. And you guys, I do dumb things sometimes. Like sometimes I write pants like 3 times in a listing title, or I misspell a brand name, or I have something priced stupid high because it used to be worth that much back when I listed it originally, but now it's not worth that much. Like I have found so many dumb mistakes. So I will go through the listing with a fresh pair of eyes and I will optimize the listing. And then I will end that listing on all of the platforms that it is currently listed on. And then I will go ahead and relist it using List Perfectly's delist relist feature. feature. That, I think, has been a much more powerful way to relist. And like I said, when I find that I have 5 minutes while I'm waiting for like rice to cook for dinner, or when I have 5 minutes before I have to leave for school, I will just sit down and knock out a relist really quickly. And if I do that throughout the day, I find that I can get through like 4 to 5 relists because it doesn't take that much mental capacity. It's not like I have to like get in the zone, like get a hot cup of coffee, like really like put on my focus pants. Why are my pants going on my head? My focus pants. Like I said, the listing is already there. I just have to optimize it. I just have to check it over and make sure there isn't any dumb stuff in there. And then maybe do a quick search of comps for what that item is comping for at the moment. I'll take like 20 seconds to link the current links for each item on each platform to list perfectly. And then I will use that delist relist feature. And it is, in my opinion, a much more powerful way to relist. So that is something that I have been doing literally just like in the past week or so. And I do think it's going to pay off big time. I'm not seeing the results of it yet, but I can see how it's going to be just a really great part of my reselling business. Number 8, this is kind of an obvious one, but Q4 comes with a lot of holidays that involve gift giving, and there are a lot of seasons in Q4. So this is the time to list seasonal items. And by seasonal, yes, I mean seasonal like for the fall and winter. I'm talking like coats and snow pants and boots and things of that nature, but also seasonal as in the holidays that are in the fourth quarter. If you have, Halloween decorations, if you have Christmas decorations, anything for Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, you name it, those are the kinds of things that are selling right now. And in fact, you might be a little late in getting that stuff listed, but better late than never. So I know just the other day I listed the one Halloween costume that I had in stock. I am listing through sweaters. I am listing through coats. And not only are those things smart things to list right now, just because that's what people are looking for, but also, especially when I think about clothing, fall and winter wear tend to sell for more than the kinds of things that you sell in the spring and summer. So not only are people looking for things like sweaters and coats, but those things will hopefully net you a higher profit as well. The 9th tip that I'm going to share with you may also sound counterproductive when it comes to making as much money as possible in the fourth quarter, but I think that this is a really good time to find help for your reselling business. And I don't necessarily mean like putting an ad in Indeed and literally hiring someone and having to fill out like a W-9 or, I'm not really necessarily talking about anything like that. Although if that's where you feel like you're at in your reselling business, by all means, go ahead and do that. But I'm talking more so about if there are people in your life who just want some extra work. Maybe they can do things like photograph for you. Maybe they can do things like ship or clean shoes or steam or sweater shave items. If there are people maybe in your family or like neighbors or local kids that just want to make a few extra bucks, maybe there are some reselling tasks that you can delegate to people to help you accomplish more in less time. There are also things that you can do online. For example, I had a friend tell me recently that she hired a VA through Fiverr, and this person just starts listings for them, and she said that that's been really helpful. Maybe this is the time where you want to enlist the help of a cross-listing software like List Perfectly. There are a bunch of other ones in the market. I just can't speak to them because I've never tried them. I started using List Perfectly, I don't know, when they first launched, and I've never had a reason to check out any other cross-listing platforms, so I've just stuck with them forever and ever. And for me, List Perfectly isn't just a cross-listing software, it's also what I use to manage my inventory. It provides sales and analytics information for me, but also List Perfectly is what I would use in lieu of hiring like a virtual assistant to help me start listings, because if I just take pictures and put them in a listing on List Perfectly, there's a button I can press called Listing Assistant, and it will literally create a listing for me using the pictures that I took for that listing. Is it 100% perfect? No. Like, I have to go in and make some changes here and there, but it does a pretty stinking good job. Like, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, I don't change anything that the listing assistant put in the listing description. I usually do tweak the listing title a little bit just to optimize it as much as I possibly can, but it even goes so far as to fill out a ton of my item specifics. It just makes listing so much faster because it does like 75% of the work for me. So yes, it is an added cost per month, but it is an added cost that gives me a lot of bells and whistles to help me accomplish more with my time for my reselling business. I forgot to mention it can even share your Poshmark closet. I don't know. There's a lot that you can do with List Perfectly. And when it comes to the first part of this that I mentioned, finding someone to help you with some of your reselling tasks, I have employed my children. Like, my daughter wants so many things. She is 12 years old. She is super into like skincare and hair and clothes and all those things, but she is 12. She cannot get a job in the traditional sense, and we are not the type of parents that just buy her whatever she wants. So she is always on the prowl for a way to make some money. And finally I was like,
girl, take pictures for me for my reselling business and you can make some money that way.
So that has been wonderful, even though she doesn't really do that many. But however few she does, those are items that got photographed that I didn't have to take the time and photograph myself. So even if it's a child that lives with you in your house that maybe you can train to do one part of your reselling business well, what an asset. What a way to save some time so that you have more time to do the things that only you can do. My son is 8 years old. He is really into, oddly enough, cleaning shoes. And I don't know about you, I hate cleaning shoes. And oftentimes I won't even buy shoes at the thrift store if they need a good cleaning. But I do have lots of shoes at home that are just not in the best shape. They just need a little bit of cleaning. They need a little bit of TLC. And my son has all these random supplies to clean shoes with. And so he is somebody that I could pay to clean some shoes for me for my reselling business. And as a result, he can make a couple bucks to buy more basketball cards, more NFL cards, more things that he doesn't really need, but that's what he's into, so there you go. My final tip, my 10th tip when it comes to locking in the fourth quarter and making as much money as possible is to plan out sales that coincide with the traditional sales schedule. So for example, in October, there sometimes are like Columbus Day sales. In November, obviously there's Black Friday. And in December, obviously there are a lot of stores that will drop prices significantly for people who are shopping for the holidays. And so if you kind of pay attention to how the big retailers in the country are running their sales, and if your sales kind of mimic what they're doing, I think you could find a lot of success that way, especially because, for example, on Black Friday, I think it's really hard for people psychologically to buy something if it's not on sale, because Black Friday is a day of sales. Like, even going to McDonald's or something, like, it's weird to have to pay full price for your food at McDonald's when it's Black Friday. Like, it just feels like it's against the law to pay full price for something. And so I just, even for myself, I think I'd have a really hard time buying something on eBay if I didn't see that the price was crossed out and in red in a different color. Like, I just want to know I'm getting a deal, because it feels like my American right on Black Friday to get a good deal on something. And so if you want to kind of work with the psyche of how the American people are feeling and thinking as these different sales come and go from different retailers, I would try to study what kinds of sales they do and see if there's a way that you can have your reselling business mimic those sales. So I don't know about you, but I'm ready. I'm ready to lock in, because the truth is I am nowhere near meeting the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. And the even bigger truth is I don't know that even if I were to do all of these things, I don't know that I'm going to be able to hit those goals, but it definitely is going to work in my favor for me to try. Like, I'm going to make more money and accomplish more by trying to achieve something that's a little outside of what's possible for me. And that's a really good feeling, knowing I went out hard and with a big bang, and that I did everything I could to try to make the most out of these last 3 months. But also, don't get too crazy, because also these last 3 months are about being with loved ones and spending quality time with people who fill your cup. And you don't want want to be that person at Thanksgiving who is rushing through your meal and you're like, sorry, I have to hurry up and ship these items from my sale. Like, you want to have a good balance, but these are 10 things that I believe you can do to just help you lock in, help you achieve a little bit more than maybe what you would have been able to without some of these tips. And I would love to hear from you. What is the one thing that you are going to do to have the most profitable fourth quarter in the year 2025? Let me know down in the comments below, and take some time to look through the comments, because as good as I think these 10 tips are, people are going to deliver in the comments and share some other really helpful and insightful things that you could try for your reselling business as well. Again, if you want some accountability and you want to be a part of that listing challenge that I'm going to start on October 20th, my Facebook link is down in the description below. Make sure that you check that out when you are done watching this video. And if you want more just kind of helpful reselling tips, especially when it comes to being productive, I have a video right here that you might enjoy, so check that out as well. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want more content like this to show up on your feed on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's go out with a bang. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.